This is probably the picture you have in mind when you think of a Morgan. The sun is shining, there's hardly a cloud in the sky. I've got a beautiful B road to play with, the birds are chirping away, the tweed jacket is firmly in place. I've had my twinings. Well, no, that's not what this car's about actually. This is the Morgan Plus 6, and despite the ye olde England look, underneath it is a BMW Z4 / Toyota Supra. That means that it has a twin turbo 3-litre straight 6 with 500 Newton meters of torque and 335 brake horsepower. But of course, because it's a BMW engine, we all know that it's not really 335 brake horsepower, it's probably 370, 380. Unlike the Toyota Supra though, this doesn't weigh 1,500 kilos. This weighs 1,075 kilos. That, combined with the power and the fact that this doesn't have any traction or stability control, means it's an absolute lunatic. 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 4.2 seconds, and the top speed is 166 miles an hour. But there's more to this than just outright performance, because underneath, in the same way that you've got the BMW engine, you've got the BMW gearbox. So you've got an 8-speed ZF automatic, and it's just a fantastic gearbox, there's no getting around it. In automatic, it is always in the right gear at the right time. You don't notice it when you're just cruising along, and then if you need to overtake, the slightest whiff of throttle and it drops it down however many gears you need, and you're away. There's no waiting for it to do its thing. It's always with you, it's always there. And when you use the paddles as well, the response from the paddles themselves is super sharp, but the gear changes again, they're really quick. There are double wishbones all the way around, so it's comfortable but remarkably capable. And the steering, it's electrically assisted, which might make you think, oh goodness, it's going to have no feel at all, it's going to be terrible, but actually, it's a very good system. I think my only real complaint is that I wish the ratio was just a little bit quicker. The looks then are entirely deceiving. It's a proper driver's car. It's not all perfect though. The brake pedal has got a lot of dead travel at the top, so when you put your foot on the brake, there's nothing, and then the brakes grab. You've got ABS and the brakes are really strong, so you know, it's not like it doesn't stop. When it does stop, it really stops, but it's just the top of the pedal. There shouldn't be that dead travel there. There's also no limited slip differential in this one either, so when you put your foot down, you don't always know what it's going to do. Sometimes you get a lot of one tyre fire where it's just spinning the power away. Other times it'll bite, it'll try and oversteer and the power will be going to both rear wheels. There's not always the consistency that you'd want. So on a damp road, again, it doesn't quite inspire confidence because you don't always know what you're going to get. There's more too. Firstly, there are the paddles and the indicator stalks, which look to me as if they're from a Peugeot 3008. Then there's the gear lever itself, which is a BMW gear lever. And that makes sense because you've got a BMW engine, you've got a BMW gearbox, but when you look inside the window, and it doesn't really work for me. And then just up here, there's a little bit of leather that looks like it hasn't been stuck on in quite the right place, because you can see some glue. And then there are the seats. Now, they look great, they feel great, but they don't offer any real support. There's too little side bolstering, and to sit on it, you feel like you're sitting on the car, not in the car. It's like sitting on a cushion.
But then you take a step back and look at it. You smell the interior, you hear the turbocharger, you look at those hilarious wipers.
Dynamically, it isn't perfect. I think a proper limited slip diff, a tweak to that brake pedal, and some better, more supportive seats would really push this to another level. But I'm not overly bothered. What this has, by the bucket load, is character. So much more character than a Z4 or a Supra. Granted, it's also a fiver under £82,000. but even for that money, as an experience, it's fantastic. It's also, yeah, definitely slightly unhinged.